Hello everyone, my name is Alex Liga, and this week I am going to be broadcasting a video to you discussing the role of the Catholic Church in late 19th century America. Specifically, we're going to talk about the role of the Polish National Catholic Church. Between 1850 and 1924, there were over 2 million Poles that immigrated to the United States. This was a group of people that were faced with very challenging conditions. They were often living in poverty, in urban working class situations, and they were forced into a situation where they needed to overcome adapting to a new language, a new culture, a new country. And the old world lifeboat that they really tried to cling on to was the Catholic Church. Unfortunately, the Polish immigrants that attended the Catholic Church felt that it was a church that was dominated by Irish bishops. The Polish felt that the Irish bishops were trying to force Polish immigrants to assimilate too quickly. They felt that their culture and their language was almost like it was trying to be eliminated. So the Poles in turn did not appreciate this. The Catholic Church, they simply just did not acknowledge the massive influx of Polish Catholics that were filling their pews every week, and they did not appoint a church leadership team that reflected the demographics of the communities they were serving. So in 1894 and 1895, you really saw this whole situation started to boil over. There was controversy at St. Hedwig's in Chicago and also in Buffalo, New York, about they had started up Polish Independent Churches of America. This was led by Reverend Kozlowski as well as Reverend Kaminsky. So as that year ended, they began to stand up these Polish Catholic congresses that met and discussed what the way forward was. Leadership at this had just preached patience. We'll get there. We're going to resolve things. It'll all come to be. Coincidentally, in 1897, both Kozlowski and Kaminsky, the leaders of this schism that was going to happen, were appointed as bishops. So the movement stalled out. However, that same year, quietly, a Reverend Franciszek Hodor established a new parish in Scranton, Pennsylvania. This would go on to eventually, in 1904, lead to the establishment of the Polish National Catholic Church. This was when they officially seceded, the PNCC officially seceded from the Catholic Church. By 1907, there were 23 parishes with more than 75,000 followers, and this had tried to be avoided. The split had tried to find some middle ground. Just tracking back on this for a minute, there were congressmen from Buffalo, New York, as well as from Wisconsin that had traveled to the Vatican and appealed for some sort of middle ground that could be found, and it had failed, and that's what led to eventually in 1904. But catching up on things here, in 1911 is when everything kind of shored into place. You had seen the multiple localities of Polish immigrants that were determined to make some changes to it, and by 1911 is when things really fell into place for the Polish National Catholic Church. So this was a church that retained many Roman Catholic traditions and beliefs, but they added some of their own Polish culture to it. For example, they added feast days commemorating events in Polish history. They adopted Polish as the language of the Mass. They allowed its clergy to marry. And one of the big things was that they maintained a hierarchical church organization like the Roman Catholics had, but they stressed parishioner control over parish affairs and the selection of local pastors. So this is where the big change was. To connect everything full circle, you can look in the Knoll text of what had happened under the leadership of John Carroll. Shortly after the American Revolution, you saw this reign under Carroll that took place for about 40 years, where the Catholic Church in America saw a tremendous amount of success and progress from their original colonization in Maryland up until what they had achieved at that point, prior to the influx of European immigrants, or Eastern European immigrants in the heavily Catholic areas. And what Noel commented on with the shortcoming was trusteeism. The Catholics had seen the amount of local control and local administration that the Protestants were able to achieve, and they said, hey, why can't we try that? Well, the Catholic Church kind of shut them down on it, and they wanted to retain that power locally. So now if you look forward 70-ish years ahead of time, you see it really reach that point with the Polish National Catholic Church. They embodied that American self-determination that led them across the ocean, that put them into the place that they were, and then in the opportunity that they had to branch out and form their own church that serviced the needs of its congregation. The folks that were filling up the pews were not satisfied with the administration of a Catholic church from across an ocean, and they decided that they were going to branch out and try something new, and they were successful to a point. There were about 5% of Polish Americans at the peak of it that identified with the Polish National Catholic Church, and at its peak was about the 75,000 attendees. And today there are still, according to the Polish National Catholic Church's website, about 25,000 people that attend the church there. So I found this to be a very interesting topic, and I thought it really reflected some of that American self-determination and democracy ideals that we've been studying throughout the course. Thank you.